as a slight free in the doctor both. And stop the fight here in New Jersey. And we welcome our viewers on Sky from New Zealand. The self inside on Lester Jackson. Leads there, 76-70.
Lester Jackson with reckless abandon from early here, but this is in every fight. He's used to being the shorter man in there, fighting in that crowd. Try to work past that jab and work on that body. He hasn't had much success thus far. Let's see how long Lester Jackson.
Lou Dubas, too. He seems to bubble. He really likes this kid. 3 in the third round. So again, it looks good.
Yeah, Lester, you know, he's an older guy. He's been around the because of Samson Cohen pulling out of David.
To try to work inside, pay dividends. Also being a southpaw. 2-1 here.
And keeping the distance between the two of them, who had been prepared for a 6, succeeded in having it.
Explosion comes to you from Jackson again, just elevated to the stat. And he says, hey, I'll just prepare myself, and they got a beat knee. I'm just going to go in and do what I'm supposed to.
He's going to pressure guys, and you know, an 8-round day for Lester here with David Tua.
Him all over the way. Tua, by the way, if you're wondering where those 12 knockouts in 13 for 72 wins out of right now. Does a little bit of training down in
maybe even in Norfolk were things that impressed the out of there. So they were excited about his prospects in the professional rank.
Loop over the top and throw some combination too is Shelley Finkel, who David Tua, the trainer for.
Do what he wants to do with her. From the breeze of that blow that in with.
St. Louis last year won a 4-round decision over Tony Frazier. And again, his record going in at 5-2-1, and Tua getting in.
David Tua reaches Lester Jackson with a right hand and another big
round coming out with the heavyweights. Lester in the blue with the white.
Almost all the scoring in the first shots is because I'm sure we've seen it before. He's got the kind of legs at the knees and sends them flying. So he you know, that
can. Way in. I got a feeling that Tua somewhere along the body before the day is over.
And it's very common when the southpaw fights are tangled up here, and Orlando got tangled up in that a little bit as Lester Jackson tried to back up there. His office right here, Sam. This is what he wants to do. Body, head, upstairs, downstairs.
By the way, one of Jackson's legs. And that time clock now here in the third.
Sitting up against those ropes so he can work, and there's no way for them to back up. And here he's landing some good, solid shots on Lester Jackson as Lester answers back, but doesn't have any kind of a thunder on his punches.
Trying to throw back a couple of punches. There he's all by knockouts at 13-0. And there you see why. Beautiful combination. The body shot started sending Jackson down. He squats in the corner. Tony Orlando put Jackson down for the only knockdown so far. The Jackson had to take the count, even though they automatically go to the corner. Again, he has to complete the 8 count. And that's able to continue and then
try to pull Lester Jackson.
I wouldn't be surprised he's not saying this. Does he have a reverse? I don't think he does.
Yes, I don't know if we're going to get to this. But Lester's this guy on the ropes. This is just to the body and then work his way up. So successful with at the end of the last round.
Tua, again, his jogging cage is covered up pretty good.
Tua off him, but he's just not doing anything off of the hounded and
see the conditioning to take and sap the rest of that energy that Jackson has here near the end of round 4.
He's outgunned here. You know, he can't sit here and exchange to be in the middle of the ring with this guy.
So they inched the ropes in the black, and David Tua started out as a guy who started fighting at the age of from his dad, who wanted to put him in the ring right now, and his dad certainly well.
Yeah, a lot of good fighters. I don't think that's it. A lot of us got whipped by our older sisters.
And pushing and shoving with Jackson, where he has lived on the ropes here, particularly in the last 3 rounds.
Best laid plans. You know, Lester Jackson came out here or did well in the first round with it. You know, boxing and keeping that right jab out there from David Tua. But since then, really, it's you know, he's just leaning on these ropes, and David Tua has just been all over him.
Jackson, by the way, does have a couple of knockouts in his 5 wins, but both of them came early, one in the first and one in the third. So he is really threading on a little tough ground right now. As a matter of fact, he's only been 6 rounds once, and he lost that to Stan Butler. That came back in 1984 in February. Only time he's been past.
Really now he's been reduced, you know, to keep Tua off him at all. And Tua's really
have gone the full distance with Tua. Just found her today. Never been open maybe to get a little weigh in. Again, they cut it to 8 rounds.
You can't just up there a little bit and try to give. Tua's got range to really punch him. And Lester's just in a bad position there, leaning on the ropes there. He can't go left and he can't, so he's really just trapped himself in a on him.
Get a little air back to it. He's picked the knee as we end the 5th round. And this the 6th round of damage on him here.
They're teaching him how to, you know, sometimes he just pushes the right in there a couple of times. Sometimes he slaps a little with the left hook 2 or 3 times. Then he really turns it over and puts toes into the canvas and really rips some heavy shots. Corner there. Jackson, you know, really at this point just might be looking to try as opposed to puts up out of there with a couple solid counter shots by
halfway through the 6th.
Duvin's fighter in there to really settle down, and then he lets go with a nice right hand. Tua-Lester Jackson fights off well off the second time in this round, but it's just not enough to you know, stretches Lester's head backwards.
This fight is Tua-Lester Jackson 6th in the same. Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola reading you from. They'll be right above us, or probably the. As Jackson has come
around very well, but he's reverted back to up against the rope. Lester just pushing. It doesn't have that good mustard on many.
Tony Orlando again watching closely as a little flipping right jab thrown by.
He did that again. Grabbed that rope.
Jackson fighting off the ropes pretty good.
First round.
Everybody into this fight. On with David Tua's supporters here. Jackson has more than does Tua today.
Might be all the fight, and he's back there resting, and now David Tua is going to come on.
Gulp of air, heads to the ropes, and Tua is right after it. Again, decision win over Wainwright with 3. Will not get one today unless some lightning happens.
Jackson, you know, when he stays off those 8th round here, well, just little pity-pat shots off of his rhythm here.
With those big shoulders, he can knock you all over the place. As you see a minute gone,
and he wanted to do certain things. He wasn't really successful. Keep that good right jab out there, and there again he rests that arm on the Jackson.
Jackson might have been close to another one in the 7th, so Jackson went down in the 3rd, and then when he struck,
and you know what he wants to do, settling down there and ripping those bodies. Lester's, you know, trying to fear and got him out of his rhythm, but he's back into it and settling in here, finishing real strong in this fight.
Well, it'll be very interesting to hear the comments of Lou Duva, George Benton, and Bob Spagnola will go into the rings as we close down to the final 14, 13, 12, 11.